Hi guys, and welcome back. This evening, we're going to be hitting the door on the A-pillar on the driver's side, getting our gaps. Well, our gaps should be fine, but getting the lines to line up. Going to throw the fender on there. We have a little work to do at the bottom of the A-pillar. Kind of help widen that a little bit so the fender slips in easier. But I think for right now, I'm not going to worry about knocking down the wells just yet. We're going to get everything put back, and then we're going to flip the Bronco around and take a look at the passenger side. It should still be fine. I didn't see a big difference when we shimmed the driver's side up. But I really do think that's what happened to the back of the Bronco. Is I don't know if y'all have been with me very long, but there's a bumper on there with a hitch that they had it welded in. Rabbits out there. Had it welded in and onto the bumper. I'm thinking they use it for a towing rig, I guess you say. They had too much weight and kind of bent the back of the frame rails down a little bit, and that's why when we replaced the bushings and started fitting everything, that's why that gap at the door was so wide, because the back of the Bronco was laying down on the frame, or not on the frame, on the where the frame bent to. So that's my theory. I really don't know for sure, but that's the only thing I think of, since it took the same amount of shims on both sides to get it to where it is now. But we are gonna go back in and get some proper shims. I know those aren't very good, those washers. Not a lot of surface area around them. I like to get ones that are about the size of the actual body mount washer thing. So we'll get some of them eventually and swap them out. But yeah, tonight we'll put the door back on, fender back on. Then we'll swing the Bronco around and we'll talk about the passenger side. Maybe start taking it apart a little bit. And I don't think we'll get to be welding anything up, because honestly I don't think I have any weld through primer, and we need that for the everything. So anyways, we'll get it ready, get the pillar tore. I don't know about tore apart, but we'll make sure everything is where it is, and we'll mark everything like we did before. Got kind of do what we did on this side on that side. So there can be some paint and stuff hopefully tonight. Anyways, enough talking. Let's swing this here, get the door on, then we'll flip it and look at the passenger side. All right, I think we got it situated. Had to hit the A-pillar a little bit right here. Let's knock it back to this pinching the fender right here. Now we'll go in and out pretty easy. Body line is pretty good. And even right through here, I pulled the hinge out more and it took that space up. Yeah, pretty happy. It shuts nice. You can see. Call this side done, other than the door skin. which we'll get that some other time. I'm pretty happy. Even down here lines up pretty good, which I hope it should since it's welded in. But let's flip this around and we'll look at the passenger side and start thinking about next steps to do. I need to sweep my floor a little bit. Passenger side. This gap looks way too long, very big. Gap through here is about the same as over there. Be honest with you, this gap here pretty much matches that one over there. The only big difference is this gap is not like the other one. Which may have to come in here and kind of bend it up, or yeah. Okay, the issue we're having is it's a little lower here on the tub. I don't know if you can tell. So this needs to be lifted up some. So may have to, yeah, we're gonna have to lift it up. At least even with this, and that should be about right. So we'll go ahead and do that right quick. Lift the outer rocker up, try to get that gap looking better, and then we'll look at everything else. Show you how that fender's sitting on there. I don't like how it is, but let's try to get this sorted right quick, and then we'll move on to something else. What you doing? Okay, we have some issues. I just cut myself on something. That gap's not getting any better. It's a little tighter, but not much. Especially up here, it's real big, and then it does get thinner back here, but it matches up good there, and it matches up good there. So I'm thinking I need to redo these hinges and drop the door down just a little bit, and that'll bring, did it again, the corner got me. Bring this peak down, which is kind of high on the body line with the fender, but back here is pretty good. I just don't know, I have to bring them both down in order to kind of keep the door straight. But it does seem to be kicking up in the front. So we'll loosen these back off and try to drop them down just a little bit, and then we'll tie them back up, see if that helps the gap out down here, and make sure it doesn't mess up body line here, you know, all the way down. Alright, I think we got it. It is still a little bit bigger than the driver's side, but at least can't stick my fingers in it anymore. The gap's a little bit bigger than I'd like it to be, but I do not have any shims on that part. But just leveled out here at the top. Body line is still really good right here. Everything's fine down here. Body line's good there. Still a gap right there. But I may just have to learn to live with it. It's a pretty big one though. Make sure I put a shim on the filler on the top here. Make this a lot better, and try to take up this gap right here. We'll try a small one first, and then see how that goes. Okay, we have an issue. The fender needs to move forward. I think. Looks pretty close. Just eyeballing it to the other one, but put another shim in there. It has a bunch of shims in the top hinge here, and it helped a little bit here, but not so much here again. Hate to put another shim in it. I might throw another shim in it right quick and see what happens. And I hate how that just drops. So like the driver's side, you can just you don't know if these strikers move. Like, can I unscrew it and move it down just a little bit? Guess I'll give that a shot right quick too. I won't mess with that. I should just. Something's not right. Afraid if I move the striker, my door won't line up. Alright, something's off with the pillar. Thought I had it. No matter how many shims I put in that, it doesn't widen the gap. And my door, if you can tell, just falls off the striker, and it doesn't act like it should. It does look okay right here, as in, you know, pretty level. I don't say level, but you know, even. But the door itself is still not right. And the fender, I think, needs to move forward a little bit. So I wonder if the pillar needs to bend some. Now just give me a wider gap back there though. But let me bring it closer and I'll kind of show you what I mean. So much for this not being a long video today, but as you can see, this gap is way too close. Basically on the fender down here, it's way too big. And you can't see it, but in here there's almost all the shims that I bought is in that one hinge up there. This gap is still a little big at the top, which I thought it was better before we shim that side. So, oh, I don't know. Anyways, that's what happens. I don't think it's supposed to do that. It's dragging on the outer rocker now. That's because you can tell I got so many shims in there. Probably need to take those out, but as you can see, the pillar is more forward and the holes don't line up here, which I know this is reproduction part, so there's going to be some wiggle room, but that's really off, like a lot. And I can kind of push the fender a little bit forward and it lines up a lot better, but it will not move down here. And that's why you saw me hammering this part. So I think we're gonna take some shims out here next time and try to get this hitting the striker again like it was. May have to actually add another shim to the back, maybe. We might do that. Take the shims I put in this out and put another shim in this one to kind of lift it up, and then maybe that will bring this more in turn make my striker kind of lay down a little bit more, make the door shut easier. As for this fender needs to move forward a little bit. Let's go to the driver's side and look exactly where this point lines up on it over there. There's Healy. Healy's gap's pretty good. The door's easy to shut because there's no latches. Anyways. Okay, this fender lines up with the front of the window thing here. And this fender lines up with the back. So this needs to go forward quite a bit, if I'm looking at that right, because there's where it ends and it's at the back of this one. And this one's at the front. Let me know in the comments where y'all's are. That might be my issue. Let me shut the hood right quick. Okay, with this being down, of course, this needs to maneuver. The hood's not lined up. This is short. If I bring this, you kind of see how it's doing. It's lifting up here, so this needs to do something. I'm not sure. This area is not too great. This fender can be pushed in. Of course, this needs to be moved out some, but I don't think this is too bad. How it lines up here with the kind of peak. I think that's pretty good. Straight down the body doesn't look half bad either. I think the driver's side's good. Of course, there's adjustments we can do with the hood up there on the top. But you kind of see how this one's sitting. I think if we pushed it more forward, it kind of helped bring this down. Even though it looks like it's kind of as far forward as it can go. But I do know that's no good. And that would open that gap up, and this needs, I don't know how it's so far off. I don't know if you can tell, but it will go up quite a bit. And that would probably make up the difference in what I need. Something's hanging up. Now, it may be that pillar is too far this way. I don't know. But I do know that's odd to have this one on the back side and that one on the front of this window thing here. Anyways, let me know in the comments where yours lines up. I'm gonna look at the pictures that y'all sent me, and we'll see exactly where that is. That driver's side may be completely wrong, but something's just off. And I think we'll probably jack this up, put another shim in it, and hopefully it won't mess with the driver's side. But that's just not good at all. I'm gonna take the shims out of this, and that would raise that up to where it was. Shimming back here, maybe make that striker lay down like I said, and pull this gap together more. But that still, this needs to be forward some, I think. Well, I think that'll do it for me this evening. You saw we have issues over here again. I'm gonna look at some pictures this week, and hopefully give out some suggestions in the comments, especially where your front fender lines up with the window. I'm hoping it's how the driver's is, because that would eliminate a lot of my issues and not create any more on the stuff already welded up. But next time we'll, like I said, take shims out, put shims in this body mount in the back here, try to bring that gap together and make that door shut better. You can tell right now it ain't gonna work. And need to figure out something with that fender. But if you have any suggestions on the fender, like I said, fender where your fender lines up, and all this, please let me know in the comments. But just want to say thank y'all for sticking around. I thought we'd be kind of taking the pillar off tonight, getting it prepped and ready, but it's not where I need it to be to start welding. But that being said, we'll figure it out, and I need to order some weld through primer, and we may jump around to cleaning up the driver's side a little bit, kind of putting some of that Bondo stuff in there and getting it painted, looking better, and work on this side too, getting everything to fit back how it was. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.